What lies beyond letting go, after we've released our attachments and seen through our illusions? What's left? Today we complete Cañculā's journey by exploring what our ancient text calls salvation. This story has been adapted for modern audiences, based on J.L. Shastri's English translation of the Shiva Purana. The Brahmin's weathered face glowed with compassion as he looked at the woman before him. Cañculā had just heard the sacred stories of the Shiva Purana, and something profound had shifted within her. The weight of her past actions, the pain she had caused, the selfish choices she had made, seemed to press down on her like a crushing stone. The Brahmin could see the torment in her eyes, but also something else, the first spark of genuine spiritual yearning. "Oh, dear woman," the Brahmin said gently, "how fortunate you are to have realized this truth at just the right moment. You've heard these sacred stories of Shiva Purana, and they've awakened something beautiful within you, the desire to break free from the endless cycle of selfish desires." Cañculā's hands trembled as she listened. "Do not be afraid," he continued, his voice warm with understanding. "Take refuge in Shiva. Through his grace, all sins, no matter how heavy they seem, can be washed away in an instant." The Brahmin settled more comfortably, knowing that this was a moment that could change a life forever. Let me share with you the magnificent truth about connecting with Shiva. When you understand this, your entire future will be filled with peace and joy. You see how your mind has already begun to change? Just by listening to these stories, your heart has started turning towards purity, towards letting go of the things that once seemed so important, but only brought suffering. Cañculā nodded, feeling the truth of his words resonate within her. There is one path that works for everyone who has made mistakes, and that is sincere repentance. The wisest teachers throughout history have proclaimed this. Genuine remorse, combined with the determination to change, can wash away any wrongdoing. Think of it this way, the Brahmin explained, using a simple metaphor. When a mirror becomes dirty and clouded, how do we restore its clarity? We gently wipe it clean with a soft cloth. In the same way, when our minds become clouded with selfish actions and negative thoughts, listening to the sacred stories of Shiva wipes away that cloudiness, revealing the natural purity underneath. The Brahmin's eyes sparkled with the joy of sharing profound wisdom. When your mind becomes pure through these teachings, something wonderful happens. Shiva himself, along with the Divine Mother Parvati, comes to dwell within your consciousness. And once that happens, you naturally find yourself living in harmony with the divine realm. This is why these stories were given to humanity by Mahadev himself. They're not entertainment. They're a complete path to fulfillment, addressing the fourfold aspect of human life: righteous living, material well-being, fulfilled desires, and ultimate spiritual liberation. Here's how the process works. First, you listen to these stories with an open heart. This naturally leads to deeper contemplation. You start thinking about their meaning in quiet moments. That contemplation gradually develops into direct spiritual experience, which certainly brings complete freedom from suffering, brings salvation. Even if you can't meditate deeply in this lifetime, don't worry. The seeds planted by listening with sincerity will blossom in future lifetimes, eventually leading you to the goal of union with Shiva. The Brahmin leaned forward, his voice filled with conviction. "I want you to know that many people who felt completely lost, just as you do now, have found their way through this very path. They listened to these stories, began meditating on Shiva's nature, and ultimately achieved complete liberation from suffering. This practice purifies the mind in 3 powerful ways: through listening, through constant reflection, and through repeated contemplation. This purification naturally develops into genuine devotion, not just to Mahesha, but to his entire divine family, including Ganesha and Karthikeya. With their blessings, liberation is absolutely certain. But a person who lacks this devotion, whose mind remains tangled in ignorance and selfish desires, is no different from an animal. They can never break free from the endless cycle of suffering. The Brahmin's voice became tender, almost like a loving father speaking to his daughter. "So, dear woman, I invite you to turn away from the pursuits that have brought you only temporary pleasure, followed by lasting pain. Instead, listen to these sanctifying stories of Shiva with complete devotion. As you immerse yourself in these excellent stories of Shiva, the Supreme Soul, your mind will become naturally pure, and with that purity will come genuine liberation. I'm telling you the absolute truth. Liberation is guaranteed in this very lifetime for anyone who meditates on Shiva's lotus feet with a purified mind. This is not wishful thinking, this is spiritual law. Sutta, who was telling this story to the assembled sages, paused here to note what happened next. After sharing this profound teaching, the excellent Brahmin's heart melted with compassion for this suffering woman. He ceased speaking and turned his attention inward, losing himself in meditation on Shiva with complete purity of soul. Cañculā, Binduga's wife, felt as though lightning had struck her heart. These words penetrated to the very core of her being. Overwhelming joy flooded through her, and tears of gratitude filled her eyes. Her heart bursting with emotion, she threw herself at the Brahmin's feet. "I am so blessed," she cried, her voice choked with feeling. She rose, her entire body trembling with spiritual excitement. Joining her palms together in reverence, her words stumbling over each other in her eagerness, this woman of suddenly awakened intelligence spoke to the great devotee of Shiva. "Oh, my lord, you blessed Brahmin devotee of Shiva, you are truly blessed. You have the vision to see ultimate truth, and you're devoted to helping others find that same truth. You must be counted among the greatest saints. O Holy One, I was about to fall into an ocean of hell through my own actions. I am now completely eager, with total faith, to listen to the Puranas. Just hearing them has already begun to free me from my attachment to worldly pleasures that never truly satisfied me." Sutta continued his narration. Speaking with deep reverence, Cañculā received the Brahmin's blessings. Hungry to hear more of the sacred teachings, she decided to stay there, dedicating herself to serving this wise teacher. The intelligent Brahmin, the reverent devotee of Shiva, seeing her sincere desire, began narrating the stories of the Purana, right there on the spot, and so, in that holy place, Cañculā listened to the excellent stories of the Shiva Purana from that exceptional Brahmin. As she absorbed these excellent stories, which naturally increased devotion, spiritual knowledge, and detachment from harmful desires, she became truly blessed. Guided by her good teacher, Cañculā quickly gained purity of mind. Through Shiva's blessings, she developed the ability to meditate clearly on Shiva's divine forms and qualities. With her mind now drawn completely toward Shiva, she began meditating constantly on his blissful, conscious nature. Her external life transformed to match her inner change. She wore simple clothes made from tree bark. She allowed her hair to grow naturally into matted locks. She covered her body with sacred ash. She wore garlands of Rudraksha beads. Every day she bathed in sacred waters. She regularly repeated Shiva's holy names. She carefully controlled her speech and diet. She worshipped Lord Shiva exactly as her teacher had instructed, O Saunaka. For a long time, Cañculā continued this devoted meditation on Lord Shiva. When her destined time was complete, having practiced the threefold devotion with sincerity, Cañculā left her physical body easily and without struggle. Suddenly, a divine chariot appeared, brilliant with celestial colors, sent by Shiva himself and accompanied by his divine attendants. With all her spiritual impurities removed, she mounted the aerial chariot and was immediately taken to Shiva's divine realm by the Lord's noble attendants. She was completely transformed, assuming a divine form with celestial features. She appeared as a radiant goddess, wearing the crescent moon as her crown and divine ornaments that shone with brilliant light. There she saw the three-eyed Mahadeva, the eternal Shiva, being served devotedly by Vishnu, Brahma, and all the other gods. His radiance equaled 10 million suns. He was reverently attended by Ganesha, Biringi, Nandi, Virabhadra, and countless other divine beings. His throat was blue in color. He had 5 faces and 3 eyes, with the crescent moon adorning his head. On his left side sat the brilliant Gauri, shining like lightning. He was white in complexion like camphor, wearing all divine ornaments. His body was covered with sacred white ash, and he wore white garments that made him shine with overwhelming brilliance. Cañculā became ecstatic upon seeing Shankara. In her overwhelming delight, she bowed again and again to him. She joined her palms in reverence with boundless pleasure, love, and humility. In her great joy, she shed tears of happiness and felt waves of spiritual bliss coursing through her body. With infinite compassion, she was welcomed into the presence of Parvati and Shiva, who looked upon her with grace, and so Cañculā, who had once been the troubled wife of Binduga, attained a divine form. She was blessed with divine pleasures and became a cherished companion of Parvati herself. In that permanent abode of perfect bliss and sublime radiance, she acquired an eternal home filled with unobstructed joy. I do love a good ending, don't you? The divine chariot, the celestial realm, becoming a companion to Parvati herself. Part of me wonders if we're meant to take it literally, or if it's the ancient world's way of describing something that happens inside us when we finally find peace. What strikes me most is the part the text glosses over quickly. For a long time, she continued her meditation. I imagine those were the hardest days, when the initial euphoria wore off and she had to face herself every single morning, when old patterns tried to pull her back, when the loneliness of genuine transformation set in. Having the God in her heart probably helped her get through it all. I also wondered about the image of the dirty mirror being wiped clean. It suggests that underneath all our worst choices, there's something pristine, that was never actually damaged, just obscured. Maybe transformation isn't about becoming someone new, but about removing the layers that hide what was always there. What moves me most is how she didn't transform alone. She had someone who believed that she could transform, that brahmin who saw past her worst actions to her potential. She had the stories themselves, like a rope thrown to someone drowning. She had a practice, concrete and daily, something to return to when her mind wandered. Cañculā started in the worst possible place and ended up transformed beyond recognition. Between those 2 points was something beautifully ordinary, listening, reflecting, practicing, day after day after day. Perhaps that's the real miracle. In our next episode, we'll continue with Chapter 5, where we encounter another seeker's journey through the transformative power of these ancient stories. Don't forget to subscribe and ring the notification bell. Until next time, keep questioning, keep practicing, and keep dancing with the mystic.